Kenmore. Doors will open on the left.
Josh Naylor's been floating around. There's some other first baseman help. Do you think that puts them over the top or no?
Josh Naylor, yes. Ryan O'Hearn, no.
Okay. I would say that's fair. I think Naylor is much more of a difference maker, and O'Hearn maybe would have been an all-star still, but if Rafael Devers was still in the American League, he would not have been a starter.
No, definitely not. It's just, I don't know, to me, I don't think that it's going to change what they're going to do at the deadline, but for the last couple days now, have been saying that I think this is going to be a really underwhelming deadline. Everything we've kind of seen floated around, first it was oh my God, we're going to get Joe Ryan. And then it was oh, they're not going to get Joe Ryan. And it's oh, Mitch Keller. I've never been a Mitch Keller guy. I know Steve on Tied in the Eighth last night floated Chris Bubich as their number 2 option. I'm not a big boob guy. He's fine. He has one more year of control after this one, but he's in the middle of his best season of his career. So how sustainable is that moving forward? Sure, the pitching lab has shown progress this year. You've seen a lot of guys figure things out, whether it be Giolito or Bayo, but Chris Bubich, it just feels like it's overpaying for a guy that doesn't have that kind of track record. And I understand that paying for a guy that does have that kind of track record in Joe Ryan is less likely right now, but I would rather do that. I would rather pay what it takes to get Joe Ryan than pay what it takes to get Chris Bubich, if that makes sense.
Does make sense. My thing is, for a Joe Ryan or a similar type of arm like that, a Garrett Crochet type trade, I feel like I would rather wait until the offseason for that, because we saw last season, Garrett Crochet was pretty likely to be traded at the deadline. A lot of national reporters were saying. Ultimately, obviously, that didn't happen, and his price ended up being a lot lower in the offseason. So I don't know. I don't want them to trade their whole farm system for a bunch of rentals. So maybe they could be standing pat, and I think I would be furious that way, but I don't know. I don't want them to clear out all their assets just for some rentals when I don't think that puts them over the top this year.
No, I don't either. And I know Dylan Cease, they're saying that the Padres have started to make Cease available, and we know that's a team that is absolutely obsessed with Jarren Duran. I see people have been saying, is Jarren Duran enough to get you Dylan Cease? If Jarren Duran is not enough to get you Dylan Cease, then I do not want him, because I'm sitting here thinking, is Dylan Cease enough to get Jarren Duran? To which I would definitively say, no, it is not. If you get 3 months of Dylan Cease, who is not having a very good season, for it's a year and a half, 2 years of control on Jarren Duran, that is just nowhere near enough of a return for Duran. So, if that's the case, and I'm not even saying I want to see them trade Duran, unless they get completely blown away with an offer for Duran, I think their best course of action is to keep him. We've heard Bradfo say that there would be significant blowback in the clubhouse if they traded Duran. I think it depends on the return. I think Andy Hart said this, if it's Joe Ryan walking through the door and you traded Jarren Duran, I think that's a hell of a lot different than oh, we got Leo DeVries and Ethan Salas and Cash Mayfield. I don't give a fuck about those guys. If you get Dylan Cease and Ethan Salas and Cash Mayfield for Jarren Duran, I think that's a totally different story. And I'm not even opposed to trying to work something out with Dylan Cease if you do acquire him and he is a rental. He's a guy that we know they've had interest in before. Obviously, that was in the Chaim Bloom era before he got dealt to the Padres. But it's a guy that it seems like at least has fans within the Red Sox front office. So that's a guy that I'm not opposed to doing that for. But like I said, it would have to be Dylan Cease and Ethan Salas and Cash Mayfield, or Dylan Cease and Jeremiah Estrada.
Yeah, and I also think that there's an avenue to adding maybe some rentals. I obviously don't want to go down that route, but if you are going to add rentals, then you can ship out some of your lower level prospects. And I know you're trying to save the password, but he kind of seems like the writing's on the wall for him and some other lower level guys like that.
I don't think the password's a lower level guy at this point. I mean, he's pretty firmly a top 100 prospect. He hit 2 home runs the other day. Like, I think he's a legitimate piece to move. Like, if we're talking about a deal like for, say, like a Johan Duran or a Griffin Jacks, like, we just know that the asking price for them is 2 top 100 prospects. Like, I think the password gets you like a pretty decent bit of the way there towards them. We know they're reluctant to trade Peyton Tolley. Like, I mean, honestly, like, I love Johan Duran, but if the asking price is 2 top 100 prospects and they're like Tolley and the password, I'm like, no, thanks. Like, no, that's too rich for me. Like, it doesn't sound like Tolley's going to be moved. It seems like that's a guy that they're very, very high on, which based on what he's doing this year, it's hard to like see why they would want to move him, especially given that he's still going to have all that team control. It's just, I don't know, like who do you give up? Who do you give up the password for? Like, I'm not giving him up for Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, probably not either. Like, it's just, it's who's out there. Honestly, like, let me throw this take at you and see how you feel. The third wild card has completely killed the trade deadline. The trade deadline fucking sucks. Every year, everyone gets so excited about the deadline, and so many teams just still think they're in it. It either needs to be pushed back or they need to get rid of the third wild card team. There's still so much that can happen with what? In 7 days from now, the Red Sox will have played Zach versus Math. So tomorrow will be 105, and then they'll have played like 110 or so games by the deadline. I'll count that one as a win for Math because I didn't feel like doing it all the way out. But so they'll have played about 110 games. There's so much can happen in 50 games. I mean, look at what 10 games did for the Red Sox in the 10-game winning streak. If you had asked me 2.5 weeks ago what I thought they should do, I would say sell. And so, like, that's how quickly things can change with these 3 wild cards. It's just, it's too early, and it's killed the deadline. Nobody moves. Like, they're saying the Braves aren't going to be sellers. Like, I understand they're looking forward, like, to next year too, and like Chris Sale can help them next year. But like, I feel like it's so short-sighted for a team that is sitting here. I looked at it yesterday, but let me refresh it here. The Braves are sitting at 13 games under 500, 10.5 games back of the wild card, and they're not going to move guys like Chris Sale or Sean Murphy. It sounds like Marcell Ozuna's out the door, but they're not going to move some of these guys. Like, they don't have any hitting prospects. Like, there was a report that said that they were going to listen on Ozzy Albies in the offseason. Like, why wait till the offseason? Like, they're just going to be so stupid. Like, the Rangers are another one. They've kind of played their way back into contention here. They're only a game and a half back, but like, or the Angels, like, they said that Artie Moreno isn't going to sell unless they have absolutely no chance. So they're sitting there 5 back and saying, well, we still have a chance. Same thing with the Twins. Like, it's completely crushed the trade deadline.
Totally agree. And I'm looking at the standings here. Seems like a bunch of these teams, like you were saying, the Angels, the Cardinals are probably not going to sell. The Reds, the Diamondbacks are the one that I keep going back to because everybody seems to think they're shipping out Suarez, Merrill Kelly, and Zach Gallen. So I don't know. I agree. I think growing up, the trade deadline was way more exciting simply because it was so much more obvious who was in and who was out. Like you said, it seems like there's a lot of those middle of the road teams who would rather stand pat and play the cards they already have for probably a first round exit.
And truth be told, the Red Sox are like, as Carlos constituted, one of them.
Yeah, that's why it's tough to pick a lane, but I think they have to pick one because standing pat is waving the white flag, in my opinion, more than selling.
Oh, absolutely. If you sell off of Chapman, if you move off of Bueller, Giolito, like any number of these guys, like, you could get a really good haul to give you assets, to give you the ammo, to go out and land Joe Ryan in the offseason, to go out and land, I don't know, take your pick of a bat. Like, this is a bad example because it's another outfielder, but Brent Rooker. Like, I guess you could stick him at first or try to stick him at first.
That.
Like land a guy like that, land a cost-controlled bat. Like, that gives you that kind of ammo. Another thing, as I just get a MLB trade rumors notification that the Blue Jays and the Rays are showing interest in Dylan Cease. but like that's the type of like that honestly to me would be, I think I've said this before, but so much better than what they did last year and so much better than like adding Charlie Morton and Ryan O'Hearn. If the deadline additions are Charlie Morton and Ryan O'Hearn, I'm all set.
I'm with you there. Like, especially on the pitching side. Like, I just think there's so many better options.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, I think it's going to be, like I said, I think we're more and more, it's been underwhelming. Like, first it was Passan saying on Pat McAfee, they're going to add. And when they do, they're going to be World Series contenders. Like, well, we just saw this team get their fucking teeth kicked in by two of the best teams in baseball, two teams that you're going to be seeing in the playoffs, or teams of that caliber that you're going to be seeing. So it really kind of murkies the water. Is that a word? Murkies? Muddies? Muddies. Yeah, muddies it makes the water a hell of a lot murkier in terms of like seeing it with this team.